Hi, everybody. Carla Archer here, helping you work on your wellness. Thank you for joining me today, or thanks for catching the recording. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about brain health for kids and teens. And so for many of us, we have kids, we've got teens, we've got grandkids. We may be spending a little more time with them right now, being in self-isolation, being homeschooling, just having them around all the time and really getting to spend more time with them and getting to know what they're really like and how they function and how their day generally works for them. And with VoxxLife Wearable Neurological Technology, to date, we've helped over 5 million people, many of which are kids and teens. And what's so important about neurological health for kids and teens? Why is that of such value? Well, did you know that the nervous system is the most important nervous system, or the important system, pardon me, and it makes up your control system in your body. So it plays an incredible role in our everyday activities, our breathing, the way our blood flows, our heart pumping. If somebody touches us, it's signaling our brain. It keeps us active and moving, and it keeps us safe and protected. So having a healthy neurological system is really imperative for anybody, but particularly for kids and teens, because they're just starting out. You know, they've got a whole life ahead of them. And the more that they can take care of themselves at this point, in this stage of the game, the more healthier potential they have to grow into a healthier adult. So it's just working on our wellness, but it's also working on our kids and teens' wellness. So many kids and teens are exposed to stresses and anxiety, be it social media or performance expectations, their hormones, or their own pressure that they put on themselves. We all remember a time when we were their age and everything that we were inundated and the way we were feeling and the thoughts that we were having about who we might need to be or how we need to be. We're studying for exams. We want to do well in school. We're looking to go to secondary school. Maybe we're athletes. Maybe we need some assistance with those types of things. Or maybe it's just to keep calmness of mind, because as our hormones kick in, it can create new emotions and new ways of being that we're not familiar with and don't really know how to manage or to deal with. So wearable neurological technology can help with learning. It can help with athletic performance. It can help with emotional well-being as well. And what we're going to be learning today is a little bit more about all of this. So in a couple of minutes, I'm just going to connect to a live meeting that we're going to be having. And we're going to learn more about wearable neurological technology. I'm having a tongue twister today. And you know how it works. And then we're going to be hearing from some people who have had experiences with this technology with their kids. And we have a special guest who's coming on today to talk to us about this technology and the impact it's had with the autistic kids that she's working with. So I'm really excited to hear more from them, learn more. I know my experience in the field with children has been remarkable. To see the change in their behavior, just their ability to enjoy life, their athletic performance, big changes there for them too, and just their overall well-being. So I'm just going to get us connected to sharing that screen. So just give me half a second here and we're going to get going. I'm actually going to flip this back to Better Brains and Health for Teens and Kids. That's what we're going to be learning about today. All right.
To the mid-'80s when I was with the Edmonton Oilers.
Nice.
It was, that's another story.
So we're just getting set up to get started with the, we'll add that to the stream so you guys can see that.
I'll say that.
Get set up with the team, getting ready to get going. Everybody's getting on. So it'll just be a couple moments till we'll take off, and really excited to hear the presentation today. So thank you for joining me.
From the Edmonton Oilers, a hockey player that had a long-standing career, and you probably know him, Kelly Buckberger.
Yep.
So Bucky was a player with us when he first signed on as a rookie in the American Hockey League, and he was a sixth round draft pick in the NHL. and he went on to play over
Kevin's
like
telling
1,100
some
games.
stories. Kevin
Had
is
long career
a
in
sports
coaching.
therapist, and he has years of experience with a variety of athletes and sports teams. You can go back in my feed here if you're interested to learn more about that. His first presentation that he did a few weeks back was talking about VoxxLife HPT technology and its benefits to athletes. So exciting stuff. So he's just wrapping up his story, and then we're going to get going.
I'll wait one more minute because the puck is dropped. It's 2 o'clock. We're all skating around on the ice. And we will get the show rolling soon as people keep coming in. And that will be it. Good to see you, Sil. Great presentation on your brain mapping and all the cool stuff that you're doing for us. I really appreciate all the wisdom that you share, and it's always fun to listen to you speak in your Hungarian accent.
I tried to work on it, but I've already told you I will dive in.
Well, you know what? There's another gal on the team another Hungarian. Her husband's Hungarian, so you're in good company now, Sil. So we got another team there. So it's we're growing across the nation. So okay, I am going to just get a couple things organized here, and I'm going to mute everybody. And if you can mute yourselves as well, just in case, that would be great. Manage participants. I'm going to mute everybody. Mute all.
Don't forget to hit record.
All right, we should get going here right away as soon as Kevin unmutes himself and finds the record button. And I'm really excited to hear what my teammates have to say about their experience with the technology with their kids. So exciting presentation today.
Kevin, just make sure you unmute yourself.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear anything.
There we go. You guys can hear me now? Yes. Yeah, I'm so excited. Yes, all right. Okay, breathe. Okay. All right. Welcome to Friday afternoon Zoom webinar with Kevin and VoxxLife. Before I get into the formalities, I would just like to get my disclaimer out there, and then we'll get into the intro, and then it's going to be a very powerful day for all of us on the call. So I just need to do my due diligence and read my disclaimer. None of the statements or materials in this talk or presentation have been evaluated by the FDA. Statements or representations are not intended to be, diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. But the statements should be construed as dispensing medical advice or making claims regarding a cure or disease. Any health claims shared by my guests, hosts, co-hosts, viewers, or subscribers are understood to be true and accurate but have not been verified. Results may not be typical and may vary from person to person, so you should consult a licensed healthcare professional before starting any healthcare protocol or health device, especially if you're pregnant or have pre-existing injuries or medical conditions. So having said that, I am super excited for today. I have, when I woke up this morning, I had butterflies in my stomach. I just had flashbacks to my sports days on, I call it game day. And I'm just going to go back here and mute more people. If you can mute yourself.
In this day and age, we are so fortunate to have this type of technology to use, but sometimes, it's got its little hiccups.
So we have 4 special ladies are going to share their stories today, along with what we're going to share with you, what I'm going to share with you about VoxxLife. And you're going to hear their stories of how the technology has changed not only themselves, but special people of their family, special members of their family. And the topic today is about VoxxLife and children, as I call it, stories and science that touch the heart. And for those of us who've been in VoxxLife, and for those that are new to us, you'll have a much more vivid part with this in regards to what I'm sharing, in regards to when you hear the stories of how it's changed people. The young girl on the left-hand side of your screen, her name is Leah. I met her a few months ago in Ottawa at an event, and Leah has cerebral palsy. And I remember I went with a teammate, with Chantel, and we went to a home visit before the event in Ottawa. And she's I knew I was going to cry. She's the cutest little girl, and she has a neurological inconvenience, as I call it. And she already loves the technology. She loves the socks that she wears. And we proceeded to show her more about what we could do to help her about getting to her happy place, as I call it. And we'll talk more about that as we go through. And I want to leave most of the time, if I can, to these four wonderful women of VoxxLife that you'll hear about as they tell their story. And this is what VoxxLife is all about, folks. I've been at this 6 years, and I tell a lot of stories. We have some cool science, some cool videos, but we have amazing stories. And it's, like I said, the title, Science, Stories and Science That Touch the Heart. So having said that, the first lady that's going to lead her off is another Edmonton Oilers fan, because she has her jersey on. And I am not going to share too much about her, because I would love you guys to hear from her and her story. So what I'm going to do is Ali, can you unmute yourself? Is that okay? Can you do that?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Fantastic. So Ali and I have known each other for a while here. I can't remember how we met, but Ali put up a video of this little firecracker in the red pajamas. And I'm going to let her tell her story. And as another disclaimer here, you might want to have some Kleenex by you. If you're going to cry, it's good, let it go, because this is the most amazing gift that I think you can honestly share with people what we've seen. So, Ali Anderson, it's all yours. So I'd love to hear, and you can share with the crowd who you are and perhaps how you came into VoxxLife and your moment with your son. And away you go, Ali.
Thanks, Kev. It's really good to be here and sharing stories, and that's kind of what VoxxLife is all about. I got involved 3 years ago from a good friend, and I've been wearing the product, faithfully for 3 years. And obviously have found great results, passed it on to my family. And my littlest, who was 2 at the time, who I'm going to talk about, was the last to try. So he didn't really have any kind of symptoms that, I thought that he would need at the socks. And plus the extra small socks, the kid's size, were a little bit too big for him. So we were going through 2-year-old tantrum stage, just like every toddler goes through, right? Freakouts on the floor sporadically. He was starting to bang his head, and literally start to bang his head from a stand-up point, and he would just lean his head back and fall down, whether it was on carpet, tile, gravel, cement. We were just anywhere, and he would just have one of his freakouts, and he would just boom right from a standpoint. And I'm like, as a mom, it's like, well, what do I do? So, we try different things, different therapies, coddling him, not having him kind of, freak out. So literally hanging on to him as he's, going through his freakouts. And then 1 week was that. And then 1 week was kind of like, just leave him alone. He'll figure it out, right? If it hurts enough, he'll start to figure it out, and he won't do it anymore. So, talking to different moms and stuff, I got a few remedies and stuff to help it. But something just clicked in my head right away that if this kid keeps on doing what he's doing and banging his head on the hard, cement and tile floors, he's going to start getting a concussion or something. So that went through my head, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I got to figure out something fast. Nothing's working. So I'm like, well, I have these socks. I have the most amazing gift in front of my eyes, in my hands. So I took a pair of extra small mini crew socks from his brother, put them on him, and just tested it. And, day 1 went by, day 2 went by. It was starting to get a little bit better, but, we were trying different things at that time. So I said, I'll give it a week. And by this time, the kid wasn't sleeping at night. I'd literally have to spend hours outside his room because he was just not sleeping. Up throughout the night, get him back to sleep. Up throughout the night, get him back to sleep. So it was like, a big toll on mom, our whole family, and obviously him. So when I put the socks on, I waited a week and I tested it. And by this time, I was like, after a couple, 3 days, I was like, yeah, something's working here. The spasms were getting less. The calmness he was having was getting less. I could reason with him. I figured out he wasn't banging his head as much. And he went from banging the back of his head to the front of his head and just sitting there and bang, bang, bang until his red bumps. And I mean, I can laugh about it now because it's kind of funny,
Yeah.
But back then it was like, we got to figure out something. So he's been wearing the socks now since then, probably maybe a year now or a little less. But this kid is just the happiest, go-luckiest kid. He sleeps throughout the night. He gets about 12 to 14 hours of sleep a night. So happy mom here, happy kid there.
Yeah.
And then he's just a calm boy. He, I believe that if we didn't have tried the socks and, have had them in there, that his freakouts and his toddler tantrums would just have escalated more and more and more. And I mean, he still has those, right? He's 3 now. So he still has the, little freakouts and stuff, but nothing ever as bad as it ever was. And I can tell you I'm a happy mom because of that. And I love sharing my story because I know for a fact every other 2-year-old toddler that I've seen out there has or is going through some kind of, freak out. It's just what they do. They lay on the floor and they kick and scream. Some of them hurt themselves. Some of them do different things. So, this is a real blessing for a whole family. We're HPT, CBT, neuropatch, pretty much everything. So, and Bodhi, he's just a little cute guy. When the sleeves come out, these eSmarter sleeves, everybody put one on. And of course he says, where's my sleeve? They don't make one in your size. So I got him a small just so he has one. Every time we put a pink patch, which is the Neurovax patch on our arm, he says, hey, where's my patch? So he gets one too. But obviously, when I see all the blood work it's doing and stuff for people, why wouldn't I have that on my whole family? So he's just calls them happy socks, and he's just a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm going to call him over here so you guys can say hi.
Oh my gosh. Folks, you gotta watch the video with Ali that she posted with Bodhi if you haven't seen it. It is like the absolute cutest thing of this little boy trying to put his socks on and he's working. Oh, it's absolutely adorable. Oh my gosh, there we go. Bodhi, how are you? Can you wave to us, Bodhi? Can you wave to us? Can you give me a thumbs up, Bodhi? Can you give me a thumbs up?
That's it. Show me happy
All right, Bodhi, way to go, bro. There we go. Look at that, all teched out. Smart, Bodhi. You're really smart. You're really smart, man. Let me tell you, for a 3-year-old. Ali, you know what? I love your point where you talked about how one child can affect a family, and this is what we've seen so much with this journey with the pack, and we're going to hear more today. So I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for on and sharing your story. And Bodhi, I can't wait to see you skate for the first time with your Edmonton Oilers jersey on, and keep having fun as a young kid. Is that cool? Is that a deal? All right. Well, you have a great day, Bodhi. Thank you for coming on, helping Mom and helping all of us learn more about your story. And you got a lot of people following you, Bodhi. You know that? We got a lot of people following you and see what's going to happen to you when you grow up. with your brain optimized, big guy. I can't wait to hear it. So I'm super excited for you. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. I love your
Thanks,
voice.
Cap.
Okay, thanks very much. All right, just mute yourself. Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, like I said, folks, these are the special moments, right, that we see in here, and so we all have stories. For those of you that don't know me, this is my story. I'm almost 60. I spent 2/3 of my life in athletics as a therapist, from a wide range of teams, to NHL, AHL, CFL, university, work with the Canadian military, national soccer. I've been all sorts of different things. And that was my journey in sports medicine, which is important for what we're going to get into, because I'm going to get into a little bit of science. And just like Ali shared, folks, about her moment, I had my moment with the tech. So I want you to imagine you've been in sports medicine for 35 years, thinking you know everything there is about balance and stability because you've been teaching it to your patients, and start stands and eyes closed and all that wobble boards and all that kind of stuff. And I got a call from a friend. So this is another common denominator in VoxxLife. I was introduced to this by a friend. So a friend told me about Jay. And when I met Jay 6 years ago, we didn't have what we have right now. We were actually trying to move this product into a different demographic, which is where I was in sports. So I go to this meeting to meet Jay, thinking I'm going to be able to help this guy with what he's trying to do to get this tech out into the athletic world. Because when I do the presentation with athletes, and you're going to see one later on with a young girl, you're going to go, no flipping way, Kev. Yeah, I'll tell you some stories. So what happens, Jay starts talking about what he's discovered. And I'll get into that a little bit in a few slides here. And I'm listening to this guy going, I never heard anything explained like this to me about neurology. And I went to Sheridan College and studied athletic therapy and sports medicine and all that stuff. And I'm going, wow, this is really interesting. And I'm still thinking I'm going to ace the demo, which you'll see in a few slides, because I thought I knew everything about balance and stability. And he proceeded to show me what he had discovered about the brain. I was standing on $500 orthotics, thinking I'm going to ace the demo, because I've been taught you line up your feet and line up your kinematic chain, you're going to have better balance and stability. That's what I was taught. But what I learned about teaching, and I have taught in college, and I still teach personal trainers, I can only teach what I know. I didn't know what Jay knew. I only knew what I knew. Obviously, that's a big discrepancy, which you'll see in a minute. So he proceeds to do this lateral dynamic stability, which you'll see in a second here, and I get absolutely crushed on the demo. I get blindsided, I get sacked, I get not blind, whatever you go. I have no stability and balance. I'm going, this can't be happening. Hang on, I'm not ready. Do it again. That's all my athletes, by the way. They don't understand what just happened. So I try to get more ready, and I get crushed again. And then they stand on those insoles. Because we didn't have any socks back then. That's how old I am. Like grandpa. We didn't have any socks. Stood on these insoles. And he did the demo again. And I'm going to show you some numbers a bit later on. It blows the mind, because I've shared this with my sports science guys. And they go, yeah, that's impossible. No, it's not. We put a man on the moon. They said it was impossible. We did. It's done. I could not believe the difference in my balance and stability. And I got home that night and I made a decision. I told my wife what happened. She goes, are you sure? I know exactly what happened in my body. I could not pass this stability demonstration for the life of me. And I stood on this tech and my world changed on a dime. And I took a leap of faith. I listened to my gut. I went on a journey. And the people on the call have done the same thing I have. And some of you are coming on new going, what are you talking about? Well, you're going to see in a minute what I'm talking about. So that was my moment. Where it has led me to is to helping people. So today's theme is about kids. There's 4 different kids in this picture. There's a young boy on the left. I'm going to call him Seb for short. Seb has a genetic rare condition in the world. Only 108, I think, known cases on the planet. I'm going to tell you a story. You're going to watch the video with this kid. It's a miracle what happens to this child. The young girl to the right of Seb is Leah. This is where we did the demo with Chantel in her grandmother's home in Ottawa. Her happy place was getting on the swing in the park. She doesn't understand homeostasis. She doesn't understand optimized neurology. She's a 6-year-old. But she understands her favorite place, which was the park. She gets it. Young man beside Lee is a young up-and-coming top hockey player. I'm not going to play his video. That's for my athletes mode. And then to the left, to the right of him is another young girl, which I have a video. And you're going to watch what happens to her balance and stability with the tech. That's how powerful this is. And I can honestly say it works every single time. I'll get into the science in a bit. So as a teacher, I learned that I taught, and I said, you gotta experience what you experience. I'm gonna play a video with Sebastian. So Seb, in the top left-hand corner, you can see the socks he's wearing. So he has a genetic condition called Allen-Herndon-Dudley syndrome. You can go Google it. You can go read about it. When we showed up to his parents' home, he's in a hospital bed in the living room. This is where he spends a lot of his day outside of school. He has, I call, a neurological inconvenience. I'll just leave it at that. His condition, the big issue with his condition, folks, is he has tremors and seizures all day long. When you can't sleep, you can't grow, and you can't heal. He can't feed himself. He can't walk. He can't use his arms. He's on a feeding tube, and he doesn't know what's going on inside of his body. I got some inconvenience. When you watch the demo, this is how profound this tech is. I can't even do the demo with this child because he can't stand. He's in a wheelchair. You watch his left leg before I put the tech on. I think it kicks 6 to 8 times with the seizures and tremors that he gets all day long before that left sock goes on. Then I'm going to put the right sock on. And I think by the time the right sock goes on, the right leg, I think he kicks only once or twice. It goes from 8 to 2 in 10 seconds. So watch this, and I'll tell you a bit more of the story in a second here. There's a mouse. Okay, so just watch what happens. So he's looking at me going, who's this dude in my living room? But I know what I got. I've been at this point, I think 6 years. I've been at it 5 years at this point, since 2019. And watch the leg go. 1, 2. Go to put the sock on. 3. Watch this big kick. Watch this one. Bam. 4, 5. Sock is on. Tech is working. You can see 6. You see the red 7. Watch the difference on the right leg already. 1. It's quiet. Just putting it on. It's only kicked once. 1. 7 to 1. This is massive. He can't speak. It's part of the condition. All I can do, his face has already changed. See, this is the power of the emotions. You bring hope, the brain picks it up. So his brain already knows something's, I'll get into that in a few minutes. So all I can do is what? Trust in our science, what Jay has discovered. And then what happened? It's about 2 minutes later, he turns his face to Maricel and I, and he smiled. We all cried. We all cried. Because he goes, my brain is working better. I don't know what's going to happen to Seth. We've been following up. is tremors and seizures, folks, are down 70 to 80%. He can sleep better now because the tremors don't wake him up. This is how profound this is. Okay, so the people that need it the most, some often get blessed the quickest. And that smile for me will stay with me forever because you just help somebody. This young girl on the right here, so watch her feet when I do. So this is a common demo I do with children. I do a dynamic stability demo because it's very simple for them. They'll stand tall like a tree, feet together. I push down. Watch her toes are curling like crazy. Like she's bringing the house to stay stable like a tree. So I said, stand tall like a tree. I'm going to slowly push down in her fist. I want you to resist me. So I'm pushing down, and she buckles at the core. She can't resist. Okay? And she steps on the deck. Feet are just a little bit smaller than Souls. Neuro is neuro. Watch the difference in her core strength. I'm 165 pounds. I'm pushing down on her, and she's like planted in cement. And I said, which body do you like? That one or the old one? She goes, yeah, I like that one. And then she smiles. And, you know, it's in the simplicity of a child, folks, that when they feel and they experience something positive, they get it. Just like Sebastian, just like this young girl with the smile, we bring a lot of smiles to people. You just heard Bodhi is this happy little young boy now. Why? Because his central nervous system is working differently. Okay, we've optimized his neurology. So a little bit about VoxxLife for the new people. And every company has a story. Jay's story, again, was it's a family member. 83, his mom gets diagnosed with MS. 18 months later, she's in a wheelchair. He goes, not a good story. And he did everything he could to help his mother. Just like Ali with Bodhi, and you're going to hear 3 more stories coming up shortly. So he comes into this science through his own journey in life. It was destined to be. I'm looking for an answer for my mom. I will not quit. I will not give up. I will persevere. And I keep reading books about this, about what I've been reading the last few weeks. I've gone through like 4 books in the last 2 weeks of COVID. And I'm learning about all these people that have overcome. They didn't take no for an answer. They kept looking. So he comes into this. I meet him in 2013. I meet him. And in 2015, we took a shift. So we realized that because of the demo and because of the story, the best way to take this science was into, call it the rec cells. Get the share, get the talk. This doesn't happen at retail. We looked at that model. And now he said, it's the story. And here we've got lots of it. I'll get a little bit later on. So, good friend of mine, Terry, teammate, had been in this industry. He said, you know, I got an idea. And him and his buddy Ron Hoover went to a hockey tournament in Brantford. I think moved like $2,000 worth of product, no square, no matter. Like just simple stories and put the tech on people. Just get the tech on the body. Watch what happens. So like every company, and just like all of us, just like Bodhi starting as a little seedling and we started to develop, we grew. We started in the Strip Plaza. You can see in the top right-hand corner. We grew into where we are now in Mississauga. And that story is time. So we launched 2016. We just opened up in UK. You're going to hear from a teammate from the UK today. I got to cover all 2 from the USA, 1 from Canada, and then 1 from the UK. We're going to spread around the families, I call them. But we've helped over 5 million people now. It's nice and numbers speak. I said we have over 2,000 doctors in a medical practitioner program. By the way, the doctors were all introduced to this technology by the patients. See, this messes up a lot of people. It's not the doctors telling us. It's somebody walking and saying, Doc, have you heard about this company? No. Let me tell you what's happened to me. And I'm your patient. And I learned this as a therapist. When you listen to the patient and they tell you what's working, it's working because they know their body. And we started collecting stories. So again, Terry and Paul had this wonderful idea, saying, we got to start collecting these stories. Almost 50,000 testimonies on Facebook. You're going to hear 4 of them today. I say, go search. Go read stories of hope. Because you know what? You need hope. So we opened, we moved, and we grow like a child, and we found who we are. It's a Japanese term called ikigai. See, I love sports medicine. I love therapy. I love helping people. That was my job. I was the behind-the-scenes guy in sports. I was okay with that. I knew my role. Just do what you do good, Kev. Just get it back on the field. I love that. I love working 7 days a week for 9 months straight, my American Hockey League days. Because I love what I did. I just love what I do now. Same mindset. Love what you do what you love, you change the world. It's positive energy. What the world needs. We have products. I'll just show you quick 3 little pictures here. We help with this. Building a better athlete, National Geographic. We help with this. Dealing with pain. We have a new product helping with this. We have a video coming out with this as well. Stay tuned. I just got better at sharing. Love to help. And we found a business model. I don't talk about the business on this call because you need to have a story. You need to try it, wear it, experience it. And why we're so powerful in what we do is because of how the body was made. So for those of you that don't know a lot about anatomy and physiology, I'm going to keep it very simple because we're also very simple people. But this is all in Google, by the way. Okay, so you can go validate it if you don't believe me. It says, if you type in, what is the most important system in the body? Every search engine says the nervous system. So when I talk to people, I said, do you know that the nervous system is the first system that was developed in the womb? No, I didn't know that. Oh, it is. Why do you think it's the first system that was formed? Kids go, must be the most important. Yeah, it is. That's where technology works. Our technology works on the most important system in the body. That's why Bodhi and Ali have a different family. Because Bodhi got help to the most important system that he had some challenges with. If you look at the 3rd bullet, critical for life, it controls, regulates, and communicates with all the systems in our body. So it's the master controller, as I call it. It's running the house 24/7, 365. Bottom bullet, very small in perspective of the body, but it's a huge energy consumer. That's why fueling your body is so important. These are all the things we're learning about wellness, right? It's not one, it's a part of a bigger picture. But what you feed the gas tank, and again, this is what I've learned as an athlete and working with athletes of optimizing my body. So how does it work? So we simplified. I got a tech slide coming up, but this is the simplest. Because it's working to your peripheral nervous system, it's all touch-based. It's the power of touch. It's like when you were a young child and you held your mother's hand, or you wanted to cuddle, or you wanted a hug. Something powerful, very powerful, that happens with touch. And we're all going through touch withdrawal right now because that's a big part of what we do. So I got to show movies instead. Big deal. And you got to try it yourself. So what does it do? Touch always triggers a response in the body. Pain, pleasure, touch. It all evokes a response. We're a central nervous system. So that's what we do. It affects the body, you feel the difference, just like Bodhi. Ali knows her son. Ali doesn't need a doctor to tell her about her son. I know my son. I have a different son. Really? Let me tell you what's been happening to him. The bottom 2 bullets, folks. This is how God created the body. The body's designed to self-regulate and self-heal itself. It has all these mechanisms in place. And what's running it, again, is the brain, central nervous system. So all our tech does, I tell this to all my doctors and everybody else that come, this is the simplicity, and Jay has told us the same thing. The technology helps to optimize your neurology. That's all it does. When you have a better nervous system, your body works better. That's my science slide. Watch it. You can watch in more detail. I know Sylvia loves this. I'm moving on. Okay, here we go. So this is the beauty of our tech. I have lived in a world of seeing people having to deal with their challenges. When they show them this list, they get very excited because they look at the list and they're going, there's no drugs, Kev? No. It's virtually immediate, especially with HPT. You saw that with Sebastian and the young girl. Age safe. I put this on a 14-month-old with cerebral palsy. Mother cried. There's no side effects. Another powerful tool that we have in helping people. I talk to people. Tell me about your quality of life. I have 5 words in this crusade. Quality of life, hope, and dignity. Okay? These are our products to deliver the science. You're going to hear more stories about some of the newer ones, and I've got Michelle coming on. She's going to talk about the sleeve, and Natalie's going to talk about her son, Macri, and Sierra's going to talk about her kids, and I saved her for last because they got the whole artillery going. They got everything. They're all locked in, and you're going to hear from her. Okay, you don't need to hear from me. So why do we make such an impact? We work on the brain. You can Google all this. What's the function of the brainstem? Balance, power. So when you take this to a child who's having challenges, and I can honestly say this to everybody I talk to, say this is how I help. These are the areas that we work in. Is that of interest to you? Absolutely, Kev. And it's even important for me too. Just like Ali said, our whole family is boxed out. I got numbers, numbers for my science people, my trainers, and my doctors, and numbers are numbers. Kids don't ask. You know what, guys? This is what's so cool. Kids don't ask for numbers, man. They don't ask for numbers. Can I have a lollipop, please? Mom, I need my patch. I need my socks. I need my sleeve. I just feel better, Mom. I'm in my happy place. I'm in my happy place neurologically. When they show this to my sports science people, they call me out. They go, this is impossible, Kev. No, it's not. I didn't do this. Jay did. Jay studied it. Jay got the papers. You can go look at the papers. Put the tech on your body and go challenge me. I dare you. Go to the gym, just like Paul Austin last night, and go do lateral flies to fatigue. Blows people's minds. A few more numbers. So you're going to hear from Macri here in a second and Natalie about how important stability to a young child has a neurological inconvenience. You're going to hear that story. So again, numbers are kind of cool to talk about. Just watch the movie. Watch the reality of a young boy dribbling a basketball. So the bottom right-hand one for me is very relevant because it enhances brain function. Brain runs everything, folks. Optimize your neurology. You change your life. How you think, how you feel, how you act, how you live. It's so, so important. The bottom number is the next story coming up. So Natalie Mack, you're up next on deck because we help people. We just help people. So Natalie, if you could unmute yourself, please, that would be great.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Natalie.
Hello, Kevin. This is my son Macri, who is very camera shy. But as you can see by the pictures, that's him. So Macri was born with cerebral palsy. He is what's considered, it's called spastic diplegic, which means it affects his legs. However, it does affect his entire body because when you have CP, you have a disconnect between the brain and the body. So you have stiffness and tightness, and the muscles don't fire the way that they're supposed to. Macri is 11, and we were introduced to Vox 6 months ago. I don't even know how Noelle and I got connected. Somehow it's like that Facebook world where somehow you guys became friends. And I was posting on Facebook about the fact that, I had to schedule Macri's gait study and insurance was denying his wheelchair. Now, he doesn't need a wheelchair full time. It's just for when we go into the community. And like anytime he has to walk long distances, he fatigues fast. So Noelle sends me a private message And she's like, hey, have you ever heard of VoxxLife? And I was like, lady, are you crazy? Like, my son was born like this. Like, if there was something like this, the doctors would have told me about it. So she sent me a couple testimonials, and I was like, oh, wow, okay. Like, I mean, I'm pretty open-minded about stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, she's like, let me overnight you a pair of insoles. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, I'll try them, but I'll be sending them right back. So I did my demo on Macri. It's not the prettiest thing, but, you know, I watched a demo video. And so literally he stepped on the tech and I could not budge him. Whereas normally I could go like this and he falls over. So within 7 seconds, his brain recognized it and I could no longer push him. His balance was like set. He was giggling because he was so happy. Like, he's like, haha, you can't push me over, when all this time he could easily be pushed over. So fast forward to the next day, he's walking out to the bus and I'm like watching this kid walk to the bus. And normally he has a side-by-side gait where he rocks back and forth and because his balance is off. And he was a croucher, which means he squatted in order to stand because he didn't have balance to stand tall. Well, the kid went off to school and I'm like, whoa, like his gait was there was not a lot of the side to side. I was like, he actually almost doesn't look like he has CP. Where's my camera? He gets home and he comes home to give me a big hug. And he's like, he used to complain a lot as well about leg pain. He doesn't complain about leg pain anymore.
Wow.
Since wearing the tech, which is huge too for him because it was like every day he'd be like, my legs hurt, my back hurts, my legs hurt. So he comes in to give me a big hug, and now, mind you, he's not crouching anymore, so he grew about an inch. And he comes in for a hug and he smacks me right in the chin. I was like, whoa, you grew. So he is very active. He loves to play basketball. With his quarantine, he's out there as much as he can, and he plays in the house as well. But I don't know if you have the video, but it's on our testimonial page. And Macri, when he dribbles a basketball without the tech on, we took it off, which, mind you, I don't have to ask him to put the tech on. He asked for it himself. He's got 4 pairs of socks of his own that he rotates. He has the insoles in his shoes as well, just in case. And he actually wore last night the Neurovax.
Cool.
And he's now a proud owner of a sleeve. So we noticed with the having to do e-learning, his attention span was very short, and he couldn't stay focused. And he told me his head hurt from looking at the computer screen. And so I said, let's just try the sleeve on you. And he now can complete like all of his schoolwork where it would take him all day. Now he can finish it all in the morning. So that was huge. Yeah. So beyond the HPT tech, now I'm noticing even more benefits. And I'm like, yay, more things to help him with. So, but back to his demo I posted a month ago, right before quarantine started. I said, let's take off the tech. I don't want to take off the tech. I go, can you just take off the tech so I can film you? And then we'll put it right back on. Fine. So I took it off. I had him dribble down the sidewalk, and the ball, he couldn't stay down the middle of the sidewalk. And then he would also lose control of the ball. He couldn't keep the ball bouncing. And at the end of the video, the ball goes bouncing off because he loses complete control of it. So then we put the tech back on. He starts to dribble down the sidewalk, and now he's going to show off because now he's going to run and dribble. And then he turns around and he comes back, and he's in the middle of the sidewalk, balances spot on, and he has control of the basketball. So
Awesome.
yes.
I love that video, Mac.
You like that video?
Oh, girl.
Do you like the tech? Yeah. Are you shy?
That's all right. That's okay. So, Macri, I'm so glad that your mom met Noelle, and Noelle reached out to your mom, and your mom thought of you. And I love the fact, Macri, that you love wearing your tech because it just makes you feel better. Is that right, Macri? Yeah.
You can tell the difference. Yeah.
Very good. Nat, thank you so much. I so appreciate you sharing and your heart to help your son.
Yeah.
You know, it's about the heart of a mom. You know, the passion that you ladies have for your kids and your families is a big part of who we are, and you guys are a special part of this team. So thank you again.
I will tell you, Kevin, I have a daughter who is 14 and plays basketball.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have any ailments, but she always ended up on the floor, like going after the ball, or she'd always just trip or whatever. And we put the insoles in her basketball shoes, and quite a few people had come up to me and say, wow, she's really not on the ground this year. What happened?
Yeah.
I'm like, haha, tech.
Tech. You know what?
Yeah. So everybody suffers from balance issues.
You bring up a great point. I saw this with some of these showcase tournaments that we're at with hockey, where it was the parents coming back after the games saying, I got a different daughter on the ice. Because I know my daughter. Like, just like you, I know my son, I know my daughter, and I got a different hockey player on the ice. Nobody can knock her off the puck.
Yeah.
And, you know, my good friend Terry brought up a good point. It was about, and Allie and Bodie, and same thing with Macri falling. It's also about injury prevention.
Yeah.
When you fall, you don't know what's going to happen. So we're designed to ambulate and stay upright, not fall down.
I mean, Macri used to fall like 30 times a day.
I could imagine.
Like a couple of years ago before he had the surgery, and then he's still like, he can't, if someone's coming at him, he can't go like this to get out of someone's way. He just goes over. And now the tech, he has more balance and stability, so he can more easily get out of people's ways, so they don't take him down, or he doesn't take someone else down. So that was what was important to me, because he is about 5'5" and 120 pounds, and he's 11, almost 12. So him coming in contact with other people and falling on somebody else and injuring them was a big thing for me too, for safety purposes. And now I don't have that worry.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, well, Allie, Nat, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. Thanks, Mac. See you, bud. Take care.
Bye.
All right. So a few more here. Next tech that we're going to share with you is called CBT, and this is going to be our next speaker and her work in this world. And it's a beautiful story when we first met. But this is something that was introduced to Jay from the heart of his own kids, of university students that were having challenges staying focused in the pressures of academia, and we all know those stories. And so he goes to work on behalf of his son and daughter, going, Dad, we got all these friends of ours at school that are having problems. What you've learned about HPT, could you maybe find something that could help them? And he came out with this technology that I'll just show you just quickly here for those that are on the call. You can see on the inside of I'm wearing my sleeve. You can see this pattern that's right here. So this pattern's on the inside of your sleeve. Again, is a touch technology that works on different areas of the brain. So in our neuroscience part, I'll get a couple slides a little bit later on, I'll share a little bit more about that. But if you look at this list on the right-hand side, folks, and look at yourself, and just like Natalie with her son, going, oh, Mom, I'm already having neurological inconvenience. I have CP. I told you earlier, we don't treat, diagnose, and cure. Macri has cerebral palsy. It's a neurological inconvenience. And part of what's going on, it's affecting other areas of his life. That here's your list on the right-hand side. So again, when I would share this with parents and I would share this with kids, if I could help you in this area, is this of interest to you? No, I don't want to improve concentration. I don't want to improve memory. I don't want to improve stamina. I don't want better reaction time. No, that's not the answer I get. They go, really? You can help my son have better balance, and so that maybe he has less chance of falling down? Yeah, I'm in, man, because he's got bruises all over his body, and it causes pain. And I'm afraid he's gonna hurt something further. So this tech that we have, and I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this. You go back and read it yourself and look at me up. There's a video I have that's embedded in the link. But this is what we do. We work on that network on the top right-hand side. We are a drug-free alternative. And I'm very frank with people when I talk to them. When they're going through problems, folks, I go, how are you doing? I don't care what you do. I don't care. As a therapist, all I cared about, are you getting better? That's the bottom line, folks. Is whatever you are doing, is it helping to solve whatever issues you have in your life? You have to ask yourself. No, Kev, I'm going on this slow. I'm going this way, Kev. Wrong way. I want to go this way. Want to go this way with me? Yeah, what do you got? Let me show you. So this is my next speaker. This is Michelle. Michelle, you are free to unmute yourself and show us your lovely background there in the UK. Can you hear us, Michelle? There we go. Hi. I met Michelle through another friend in Florida. That was a tough road trip. That was good. It was good for January. And Michelle shared her story about how she came. And I'm just going to stop. And Michelle, with the crowd, please tell everybody how you came into VoxxLife. It's a beautiful story and the work that you're doing. I'm not going to tell people who they are. I want to hear from you and what you've seen with this tech, with your new dog friend as well. So anyways, welcome, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me and for having me here. And I'm really honored to be able to, join you guys and share my story with you and what I'm doing over here in the UK. So just a little background about myself. I worked in a secondary school for 12 years where I worked with children that had learning difficulties, special educational needs children. And while I was there, I got asked if I would run social skills groups for some of the kids. And I found that a lot of the kids that sort of coming into my groups were children that were on the autistic spectrum. And at the time when I started the groups, I knew nothing about autism at all. And I just thought, how can I possibly help these children if I don't know anything about, their condition? So I took it upon myself to go and do numerous courses. And I did a course through Open University, which was exploring the psychology, biology, and practice of autism. And through that, I just became absolutely fascinated with autism. And I just wanted to know so much more because I just wanted to help these children so much. Through that, I then went on to do my advanced certificate in language and communication impairment in children. And after that, I did both my postgraduate certificate and my postgraduate diploma in language and communication impairment in children as well, as it covered a lot to do with the autistic spectrum. I've done various courses through the National Autistic Society here, and I'm currently in the process of doing a diploma on pathological demand avoidance as well. So I worked at the secondary school 12 years. I was responsible for the autistic children there. I did a lot of one-on-one sessions with them. And I now work privately with children that are on the spectrum. And the story I want to share with you, I have quite a few actually, but I'll share this one and I can share more with you later, is a 15-year-old girl that I work with who's on the autistic spectrum. And she suffers with huge anxiety. Absolutely huge, to the point that mum and dad would struggle to get her into school. She just could not get to school. They would make numerous trips to school in a day trying to get her in, and they get as far as the school gate, and she would just be outside vomiting. She couldn't get into school. If they did manage to get her in, they'd get a phone call saying, please can you come and pick her up, because she'd be at school banging her head against a wall in absolute meltdown. She'd be in sensory overload. She just couldn't cope at all. And mum and dad were starting to get letters from school saying that they were going to be fined if they didn't get her attendance up. And fines here in the UK, if your children's not going to school, can start at £120 and go up into the thousands and end up with you parents going to jail if their kids aren't in school. So mum and dad were kind of, they were so upset that they were getting sent from school, because they were like, we are trying everything we can to get our daughter into school, but we're not going to, when we do get her in, look at what happens to her. So I then got introduced to Vox through a very good friend of mine who's actually a professional ice skater. And because of my work with autism, he contacted me one day and he said, they have these sleeves that have come out that are said to be proving really, really good for kids that are on the spectrum. And I said to him, please send me some, which he did. And I spoke to this mum and I said to her, would you be prepared to try this new technology that's coming out of Canada? And she said, I'll try anything. So we got the sleeve for her and we got the sleeve on her. And if I can tell you, that this sleeve has been life-changing for this girl, to the point that we have this young girl who wasn't in school before, didn't have many friends. She now is in school every single day, obviously not at the moment because of lockdown, but she's in school every single day. She has a fabulous group of friends now. She goes out to the cinema with them, which she couldn't do before. Any of you who know autistic children will know that they suffer with huge sensory issues. So going out into crowded places, cinemas, lots of light, lots of noise would have been huge. But she goes to the cinema, she sits in the cafeteria at school with them now, which she couldn't do before either. And mum and dad are just, mum is just thrilled. And even she phoned the other day and she went, I'm just standing outside her door. And she said she's on a Zoom call with all of her friends. And lockdown happened, they had whole friends over and they were baking and making chocolate brownies and eating pizza. And that she wouldn't have been able to cope with any of that before. And it's just changed this young girl's life, absolutely 100%. And you speak to her now and she says, my sleeve helps me so much. She said, I feel so much less anxious with it. And she said, it helps me to concentrate better. I can focus better at school. And she said, I'm a changed person because of it.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's been an amazing, and it's still not over. She still wears the sleeve, and on days which are proving a little bit more stressful, she wears a patch as well. And she can get through stuff. She said, sometimes I still feel a bit anxious, but she said I can deal with it better now. And she said my anxiety issue, where I would feel anxious for like a whole day, she said is now I only feel anxious for 40 minutes. And she said, and I can deal with it better.
Wow. I remember when we met and you shared about your journey, and we've met other families that have children with these neurological inconveniences. And I think what's so special, folks, is that the children, they want to be part of this world. They are. And they don't know why people look at them funny or what they're going through. They don't understand. They're a child. They don't know what's going on inside here. And then as we've learned more about neuroscience and neurology and all these different neurological issues that we're seeing in the world, and what we keep learning, and the people like the Michelles and the Sylvias and the Marks and the Jays and the Joes, all these different wonderful doctors that we work with, and these specialists that are sharing and learning more about the brain, going, can I show you something? All you got to do is put this on. That's all you got to do. Don't change your friends. Don't change your family. And when you like you said, when you share that, and now to see a young girl to have that freedom to be a young girl and be a part of a culture and a society and a school and do all the things that young girls want to be able to do. You're right. You're like, I love when you said that the mother is just, you're like, Michelle, she's my favorite person now, man. She's like, so again, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I can't wait to hear more about all that you're learning about the children that you're helping in our mission to reach 1 billion people as we talk through further than that. So thank you so much. I appreciate it very, very much.
Thank you very much.
You're awesome. So we're almost near the end, folks. I know it's going to go over hours. It's Mother's Day weekend, so moms get priority, and the ladies get priority as far as I'm concerned in this journey. So just quickly, I'm not playing these videos. They're in the thing, but this is why the Bodhies and the Macries and the stories that Michelle just shared, that these are images, folks, from QEEG brain mapping that we do now. And when you take a child that's on the left-hand side, and that's your brain, and red is 4 deviations above normal, and yellow is 2, and that's all you need to know right now. And then you put the tech on, and you get a brain that changes to that extent on the right in under 7 seconds. You're going, that's impossible. No, it's not. You just don't know what we know. Welcome to our world of wearable neurotechnology. Go listen to our stories. And I had a fun talk with the doc on this. I said, Doc, I tell you what, go get your brain mapped. If you can't believe me, no problem. It's okay. Go get your brain mapped. Watch what happens to your report card. So moving on. Oops, I want to get this. I got to get out of here. There There we go. So just quickly, some quick numbers, folks. So this is why when you hear the stories, the changes that happen. So this is what Vox HPT. This is what the socks, the sleeve, socks, the insoles, and the neuro patch, which I have here, which you saw with some of the kids, which is this right here. You can see that etching right there. You can see the etching. So this technology works on your skin. This is a change in brain function. These aren't small numbers. These are life-changing numbers. HPT. Next one. This is Michelle with the sleeve. Look at the low. This is what blew me away. I look at slides. I don't have time to see it. The lowest improvement was 21%. This is like mind blowing. So again, this is what we're seeing through quantitative QEEG brain mapping. Latest product would come out in regards to, and this I have always been passionate about the immune system, folks. Now learn this in sports. And the next story that we're going to move into here is going to tie us all up, bring it all home. That defense wins championships. It's a term we use in sports. Your defense is your immune system, period. That's what it's designed for. God made, here's your immune system, like your digestive, like your urinary, like your muscular, like your nervous. This is your job. I quote this from Bill Belichick of New England Patriots. I know Sierra, your Boston fan, so I can tell you this. Just do your job. Just look after helping my immune system. So I learned about that. I learned what autoimmune does with your body. I'm living that in my own family. Okay, I'm seeing what it does when the system doesn't work properly. So Jay, in his gifting and his wisdom, has another application for us, and that will be the last story for today, of optimizing this system, which is run by and orchestrated by the nervous system. Okay, so neuro being at the apex of who we are, first system that was formed in the womb, and it's overseeing all the different reactions, biology, physics, the mechanics, and what's happening in our body. It's orchestrating everything. And the next slide after this is a video, which again is embedded. You can watch it on your own time. This is what happens, and this is one of the effects, folks, of EMF. We are around EMF all day long. Okay, we're around it all day long. And so when I saw this slide from Dr. Mark, and I saw that you could change my red blood cells, the function of the red blood cells in that picture on the right, and I said, I know what the red blood cells do. They deliver oxygen to all the cells in my body so they work properly. And they take out the trash, which is carbon dioxide. And they keep my blood in balance. They keep everything in balance. Blood's really important. And he goes, look what happened to my blood. Look what happens to the blood when it's being optimized via the nervous system working on your immune system. Now it's able to function better. And we have a video with Dr. Mark that talks about this. It's about 6 minutes long. I encourage you to watch it and get educated and see and do your own experiment. And this is what I loved about the tech. And now to our last speaker of the day is Sierra Grana. And so Sierra, if you would be so kind to unmute yourself and share your wonderful story. Sierra has been just an absolute, another wonderful teammate. You're all wonderful teammates. I got a lot of wonderful teammates in VoxxLife. Amazing team building here. And Sierra, it's all yours. Go ahead.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for having me here. Can you hear me okay?
Wonderful. Nice and loud. You're good.
All right. So to start my story, or our story, it really started with me. I have fibromyalgia and arthritis, and I was at a work event, and that's where I met my upline, Ellen, and she was talking to me about Vox. She gifted me a pair of the socks. I tried them for about a week, and I was not in love with them, but I realized that they were working, but I didn't want to believe it. So I thought, you know, what you know as a person is like, this doesn't make sense to me, so I'm a little afraid of it. And about 2 weeks in, I realized, wow, I am doing stuff that I haven't been able to do in a while. Like, I'm not in a fog, and I can move my body and all that stuff. So then she was following my journey with my son, Dominic, I think he's on our right with the blue helmet. He had a lot of brain traumas. Started at birth. He flatlined in my stomach, so he lost oxygen to his brain. When he was 2 years old, he had a concussion. He was accidentally pushed down a set of stairs and hit his head twice on concrete cement. And then about a month after that, he had tonsils and adenoid surgery. So he had anesthesia. So he had a lot of brain traumas. And right after his surgery, he started having severe anxiety and sensory issues. Were presenting really tremendously at 2.5. From 2.5 to 4 years old, life was crazy. It was hell. He would have 8-hour-long meltdowns all day. There was no logic to him. I couldn't tell him no because it was a big trigger, and he'd just start his whole day would be thrown off. We couldn't go out in public as much because he would get overwhelmed. I couldn't take him to the park because anything that would swing or spin would really trigger him into almost like a psychotic break. We had him evaluated for autism, and they didn't say that yet. They said he didn't have autism. And Ellen, 2 weeks after I had my socks, she gifted me
high blood pressure. That's why I think.
Yes, but you have it in result of your.
Get yourself.
pain.
I'm going to have it.
No.
Not because of pain. Not because I took a beer.
Yes.
Because I have it.
No, he said that today. He said it today that because.
We're just going to let them get that fixed.
All right, I unmuted myself again.
There we go.
Okay, so we had him evaluated. He did not have autism. And Ellen gifted me a pair of socks for Dominic. So this is September of 2018. And I was like, there's no way I'm putting these socks on my kid. We were going to have him start behavioral therapy because he had a lot of emotional behavioral issues. And for some reason, a couple months later, so in December, I decided one day we were going to test out the socks. We were going to do the demo on him and my oldest, Aaliyah. And we did it, and he wouldn't do the demo. So we did it on Aaliyah, and she's like, oh, these are really cool. She saw the instant balance and stability. And then he came over. He was having a meltdown. He was just kind of really mad about not wanting to do the demo because that's how his brain would work. And he came over to me crying. I held him down, and my husband threw the socks on him. Not our finest moment, but we got the socks on him, and he instantly stopped crying. He took the socks off and threw them across the room. And I was like, that's it. Like, this isn't going to work for him. And we didn't say anything to him. And he got up and he went over and he grabbed the socks and he put them back on. And we did the demo to him. And it's been about a year and a half since he's gone without his socks. He wears them every day. He absolutely loves them. If he's not wearing the socks, he's wearing a patch. His behavior went from like full throttle to calm, and I can talk to him now. I can tell him no. I can say things to him that he will listen the first time and not the 100th time. He just had tremendous results, and it kept getting better. Now we go to not right now, but we've been able to go to the park, and he goes on the swings. He wants to go fast on everything he's a typical kid now. There's almost no anxiety for him. And then the flash to now with the Neurovax patch, he has asthma as well. And he has an inhaler and a nebulizer. So usually around this time, he has to take both at least once a day. And he's been wearing the Neurovax patch for about a month and a half now. And hasn't had to use his inhaler at all. He hasn't used the nebulizer at all. It's really opened up his airways. I could see the change in his breathing on the days that he does not wear the Neurovax patch. It's very he struggles with his breathing on those days. And the same thing if we switch to my oldest now with the pink helmet. She has severe anxiety, mostly when it comes to the dentist. And she had to get cavities filled this week. And she was really struggling with it on Sunday that she had to go to the dentist. One, because of the coronavirus and everything going on. Two, she just did not want to get a drill in her mouth. So me just trying to think of something to help her, I was like, why don't I put the sleeve on her, because she already wears the socks. I threw the CBT sleeve on her, and within probably 2.5 minutes, she did not mention the dentist once. She was calm, and she came over to me and she goes, I feel so much better that I have the sleeve on. So I ended up ordering them both their own sleeves. They should come today. And she wears a Neurovax patch as well for her allergies. So we're not taking medication. Our quality of life has just shifted so much for all of us. My husband wears all the tech too. I call us the sticker books because we're always wearing patches and sleeves and socks. But for Dominic, it was the biggest change was his anxiety is practically gone. He doesn't have any meltdowns at all. If he does, it's maybe 5 minutes. And then I just will mention, do you want a patch or do you want your socks? And he'll grab them. But he can go about 2 weeks without any of the tech on and have similar results that he would if he were wearing the technology. Can you hear me okay?
Can still hear you.
Okay, sorry, it froze. That's why I was like, oh no. But yeah, so that's like, they're getting their sleeves now. We literally wear everything here. He asked for his tech, and that's how I know that it really works for him, because he knows how he feels when he's in it and when he's not in it. And that was the biggest thing. And he's only 5 years, he's 5.5. And the other day he was riding trying to learn how to ride his bike without the training wheels, and he kept falling, and he couldn't keep balance on the bike, so he was getting frustrated, and all his emotions were coming. He didn't have his socks on, and I didn't recognize that until it was him melting down. I threw the patch on. This is the picture here. I threw the patch on him. He was riding his bike within 2 seconds, like put it on, and all of a sudden he took off and was riding the bike straight and like fast, and he was like, I'm a pro, Mom, so that's like the quality of life it gives you. And for me as a parent now, I have the ability to have a tool in my toolbox that I can just whip out and put on him in 2 seconds. But I don't want to I know everyone's been on long, so I don't want to keep going too much. I could go on and on and on and on and on with what it's done for our family.
Kevin, you're muted. I don't know if he knows he's muted.
Yeah.
I love your story, though. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's like night and day. It's been a 1.5 years of heaven for us. So.
Okay. Can you hear me again now? Yes?
You're there.
And all right, good. All right, well, we're in the 9th inning. We're in the bottom of the 9th now. We'll go back to my Boston Red Sox story. And the last thing to wrap up on here, folks, before I just close this out is this is what the 4 ladies alluded to, and what I love about VoxxLife is it's about teamwork. And, Jay and his mission to help 1 billion people to help his mom, and you get people like this in the picture where you meet these special people. And I look at, down here with Michelle, and this is Sean, the professional figure skater. He has a very profound story with the tech. And then you got Natalie and Noelle. And then you've got Allie and Brenna. And then you've got Sierra and Ellen and Mike. And the rest of our family, as I call it. And geez. And there's no greater gift when you change somebody's quality of life. So for those that are new, and I tell this to everybody, man, take your time. Talk to people. The person that invited you to watch this or share this with you when we get the recording done was to help. The middle word, folks, is give you some hope. And I share that very sincerely, because it's gonna be a hard Mother's Day for me, because my mom's not in good shape, and I see what happens when you lose your mind. I'm seeing it in my mother. It's really hard to watch. So the 4 women on the call here, part of this, if you want to reach out to them, if something resonated in your heart and just connected with you, then you know what? Please reach out to somebody. And like the one slide said, all you have to do is try it. You have nothing to lose, because when you're a Bodhi or a Mac or the young girl that Michelle shared about, or Sierra with Dom and Leah, you're in a hard spot, and you're looking for an answer. And you're looking at your parent going, Mom, Dad, why? I don't understand. And they go, you know what? I'm so glad my friend thought of me. And then where it has taken us to is the most exciting gift of all. So for all of you on the call, I'm going to stop the recording. And then, like I said, we have an open mic afterwards. But I so appreciate.
All right, I'm going to stop my sharing. That was a long presentation, but very informative. A lot of amazing stories that were shared for us. I was making some notes and quite emotional. You know, this is really the reason why I participate in this business. Yes, it affords me to earn a living, but more so, this is driving me because of special stories like we heard today. People, we don't really realize unless we're actually living in the life that these people are experiencing and the challenges that they face every day and the struggles. And sometimes they have nowhere to turn. This might just be the best that it gets, but how could they make it a little better? And being open is really the key to this whole thing. Like they were saying, if you're willing to learn and understand how the body works and get to know how our systems work, and be open to trying something that could make a big difference, that's really all that you can do, right? Because it is hard to believe. It is hard to believe that a technology that is powered by touch can be so impactful. But I love what Kevin said when he pulled that back to the power of touch. You know, we can all relate to that, the importance of that. That's how we are. This is how we move. This is how we function, how we live. That's how it connects us with other people. And so this technology is using that power of our touch to be able to invoke those changes in our brain to see these differences happening. And we're not going to cure what ails you, but if we can make your everyday just a little bit better, that's really what we're going for. And whether it's athletic performance, sports, dance, you're learning, or if you have a neurological inconvenience, as Kevin likes to say, and just that little bit of difference in your brain can make a big difference in your day, it's well worth a try. So thank you for joining me today. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. If you haven't tried the technology before and you're thinking that maybe this is something that you would like to try for you, your kids, your teens, somebody that you know what, reach out to me. It's just about having a conversation. I always say that there's no pressure. It's just a learning experience. And for most of the products, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So that gives you the opportunity to try them risk-free. I follow up with you during the 30 days so that you're not just left alone with a piece of product, and guide you through what some of the expectations may be, and if you have any nuances with the technology. And then we see what happens from there. So thanks for joining me today. If you're not already following me here on Facebook, it's Carla Archer, helping you work on your wellness. I'd love for you to join me, tune in, and feel free to share this video with somebody that you know that this could help. Thanks again. Have a good rest of your day.